Here's your auto leveling system. I don't recommend you always use this because if you forget, it could be a very expensive repair. But when you do, you want to put on the emergency brake up front by the drivers. You push in on that. Then you can push auto level. Right now where it's blinking, something like this, you're going to want to push all retract, because it won't auto level until everything is up. And if you ever hear that beeping when you start the truck, then you want to come back here and push auto retract, because it's meaning something's down. So then you engage the parking brake where it says right now it's not engaged. Then you would push auto level. Right here's your main power. You want to leave that on. Don't turn that off, because if you turn that off, it'll kill your kill all power and your refrigerator won't run. Right here is your awning. Again, same scenario on that. Is if you do use it, you got to be really around it for the wind, because if the wind comes up, it could tear this thing off, and there's another $1,500 repair. Here's your interior lights. The power step, usually I leave that off, because what happens when you close it like that, the step will stay there. If you turn it off, every time you open and close this door, it retracts, and it's got a little bit of a delay, so you could step out. So usually I just leave that to the off position, and then every time you start the engine or something like that and the engine's running, it'll automatically close, so you don't have to worry about leaving that out or anything like that. Here's your main control. So up here you have your generator. This is, you can see it right there. Has your hours, it has this. So anytime I need to start the generator, I'm gonna hold it down. It'll light up red. I hold it down for a few more seconds. Then I hold the top button in. If it doesn't start right away, after about 5-6 seconds, then I do it again, do that. Your inverter is if you're not hooked up to any power, or you're not running the generator, then you can use the inverter if you're parked for the night and it's nice out and you don't need anything other than just say want to watch the TVs. So you push that, that'll go on. We're plugged in right now, so it's not going to come on. But that will run this TV here, and then it'll run the rear TV back here. The front TV will not run if you're driving. So if it's something you want to watch, is what I usually do is run an extension cord, unplug this, and then run it back to the back plug. This has got a safety plug on it, so supposedly the driver can't watch TV, but I don't see how he sees the TV in that position anyway. On here we have our battery, shows full, fresh is 2/3 full, black is empty, gray is empty. Sometimes these black and gray, they can be lit up a little bit in here because they've got stuff on them. You can look down the toilet to kind of see black, gray, you just kind of know. They're both 40 gallons. Here's your tank heater. I wouldn't worry about that unless it's snowing out and you want to be plugged in. Water pump is your water pump when you're not hooked up to city water or just driving. LP gas. So typically I like the LP for the water heater. It heats it up quicker. So if you do the electric on, I'm not going to turn it on because I'm not plugged into 30 amp right now. But if you do turn that on and then like try to run the AC or the microwave, it can blow those 30 amp fuses. So that's why I like the LP gas. And I just use that when I'm ready to get hot water or take a shower. Here's the slide. You'll extend, you'll push it out till it locks into place. Obviously you can't drive with it out. And then retract when you're ready to leave. Right here is the couch dinette. This table converts. You put this table the other way upside down into this area right here, and then there's a spare cushion that goes there. These can be removed if you have a taller person than 5'10" or so, and then you can set those in a position. This does fold into a small bed. It's very small, maybe for 8 to 10-year-old curled up. I wouldn't want to sleep there as an adult. Up here is probably, I don't know if it's a king. It's a little longer than that. This folds up right here. to make the bed. It goes into the spot, so that makes fully on the bed. The ladder hooks into this spot right here, but I usually fold that way so I can get into the driving area very easily. Here's for your AC. So if you're running the AC in the beginning and it's hot, you'll want to run the generator, and then you can use the AC system, which would switch this way. If you're running off of propane and using the heater, you do not need to be plugged in or run the generator because it runs off the battery and the propane. If it's super cold and you are running the heater all night, it could drain the house battery, which is this. You can still be able to start the coach off that. And I'll show you a backup way to do that too. But you just switch these to the appropriate cooler heat. So here's your toilet. It's foot pedal. If you barely push it down, it'll fill the tank. Usually is what I do before I go number 2. I'll put in some toilet paper in there with a little water, and then go to the bathroom, and then flush. There is a toilet bowl cleaner for some reason if you need to clean it. And then for smell, I usually put this in just less than a cup about every 3 days. Usually I try to dump at least by 4 or 5 days, depending on how much you're using this. This is the rear AC. It doesn't run off the generator. It's the orange cord all by itself that needs to be plugged in to a separate 110. You can't run this, plugged into the RV plus the other generator going. It would blow the 4,000 watt generator that we have. So this is just our spare for hot weather that we plug into RV sites. So I think that's the end of this video. Basically, gas stations, when you fill up and stuff like that, they can be problem areas. You want to take your turns a little bit wider. Anytime you leave, I always walk around my RV before we leave the park just to make sure nothing's out of the ordinary. If I'm backing up, I like to have a spotter even with the backup cameras and stuff like that. But it's a good practice just to walk around the RV before you leave. That way you make sure you got everything. The jacks are up, the awning's in, the slides in, all the compartments are closed and stuff like that. Thanks for watching.